How's everyone doing today? Really good? Thank you, thank you. So I don't know how much y'all know about Bollywood, but if you don't, you're about to learn a little bit. Yeah? Picture this. Shah Rukh Khan, Bollywood superstar extraordinaire on a sand dune. And Deepika Padukone in this bomb-ass flowy dress, she's there too. And there's a sitar and a tabla and a flute, and Shreya Ghoshal is singing in the back, but it's Deepika's lips that move. And just a second ago they weren't in Peru, but that's what love is like, right? 1 second you're in Mumbai, and then the music starts playing. And then you look into her eyes, and then you're like, in Peru? From your expression, I can tell that nothing I just said sounds like love to you. See, when our hearts beat once, theirs beats 10 times too. Bruno Mars would catch a grenade for you, or jump in front of a train for you. Ranbir would catch the grenade, hijack the train, and drive into a government-funded building. Us Bollywood boys were raised on fantasies, too detached from reality for reality TV, and for 50% off every single Tuesday, our mamas took us to watch our Desi dreams on screen. Hands folded over nachos in prayer, knees bent against fabric in reverence. Tonight our gods take up a new mask, and we can take comfort in that the only villain that ever wins in this movie theater is the auntie saving 17 seats for extended family in the back. How dare you to tell me that this isn't a religious experience? As I leave my temple, who's gonna tell me I can't flip a car with the flick of a wrist? I lift a pinky and watch the whole army your papa hired to get rid of me perish. Someone tell Achilles that this Desi dog doesn't heal. A hero has no weakness, except his heroine. And mine sat next to me at every drive-in, dollar theater, AMC, and chai stand. If there was a movie, then there was my mama. And I wasn't old enough to be left alone at home yet, so I got to +1. There was a time when my week started and ended on Tuesday, when I started making my Tuesday friends. Around the time I started caring about, look at my Tuesday best, hope that girl who always sat 2 rows in front of us will one day notice my weekly Tuesday flex. I dealt in smuggling Fanta cans in my jacket, marching through the ropes alongside my captain who smelled like the samosas tucked away in her handbag. And together we ran the most successful mother-son cartel since Doom Again. Now picture this. Shah Rukh and Deepika end up stuck in Peru because Shah Rukh ended the song a line too soon, and if he doesn't finish the chorus, the producer's not going to pay for them to go home, so they end up staying. The hero and his heroine, on cloud 9 with 10 different excuses why she makes his world stand still. Das bahane karke le gaye dil, but they spent so long up in the sky that they forgot about the shooting stars that got them there. There, Tare Zameen Par watching over them from below. There, Sri Devi sitting at their windows waiting for their Raja Betas to call and say a mother's 4 favorite words. Mama, I'm coming home.
Hey, real quick, who enjoyed that poem? That's what I thought. Oh, listen, check this out.
What's that?
I have here a jar, right? Did y'all use US dollars to get here? Y'all pay American?
I think so, yes.
Okay, cool. So, if you have US dollars, please go ahead and put them in this jar to support UT Spitshine, all right? Oh, listen, we can exchange US dollars for food. Okay, now, listen, what I said was American, not Zimbabwean dollars, all right? I better not see any Tanzanian shillings in here, okay? We're looking for American, all right? American. Who here is having a good time?
Yeah!
Y'all want to hear some more of that poem?
Yes, please!
All right, cool. Y'all, UT Spitshine. Everybody say love! Love! Everybody say love! Love! Everybody say love! Love! I like that. Listen, so I just want to say thank you for showing my family love. Like, I love y'all. Y'all are my family, right? Yes. And like, I just want to thank y'all for like coming out, you know, like getting up, taking a shower. Like, if you didn't, I'm still about you. Like, yes. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my family.
I love your earrings.
Thanks. You're great. We're gonna talk after this. We'll talk. When a Mexican American studies class begins feeling more like a scam than a reclamation, La Llorona, Marinali, and Eva roll in unmarked graves. 4 generations of hated things. 4 fierce chingadas sit and talk shit. Chisme becomes a ritual. Tunnels of protection carved out by knowledge, only spoken through wide-eyed whispers and shaky palms. We learn history is written by the winners. Until the losers begin to breathe again, we have a word for it. Un desahogo, and on drowning. Watch us rip fear out of our lungs like poison. We suck our own wounds clean and spitshine our side of the story. I admit to my foremothers how I have tried to act surprised about the way Brown Boy is already on conquest. As if Boy knows anything other than how to manifest destiny every conversation. Boy, out of courtesy, ask questions. My lips become a grade A student. There are no wrong answers when nothing you can say matters. The classroom is a graveyard's church. History becomes a memory game we lose every time, so Boy praises his mouth, wide, open, still dripping with bloody interjection, demanding tithes and offerings for his words, because he knows about reparations, because he knows La Raza will follow him to the land of vegan milk and conchas. La Llorona, Marinali, and Eva teach me that Chicano betrayal is made out of putting me first. So, if self-justice is blasphemy, let us all become traitors. Let us all drown our children in a river if it means they will be reborn. We can watch and wail as the fish refuse to swim upstream this year. They do not multiply. They do not allow men to make meals of their bodies, and Jesus' fingers break at such a blatant act of defiance. And I forget which boy, whether it is Matthew or Mark or Luke or John, who says, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. For it is better for you to enter eternal life maimed than it is for you to enter the unquenchable fires of hell with both hands. And isn't that just like Boy? Willing to trade his mother's gift of touch to seek refuge within his father's ivory tower. And me, the sinner, am left alone with 4 generations of indignation. Brown Boy laughs at how my people stay blunt, how they stay following Cheeseman while he stayed waiting for his movements to move out of books and classrooms. Brown Boy says the future belongs to reformers who float through a broken system. And I stay breathing life until my people can feel our desahogo.
Hey. You're gonna hear me talk for about like 3 minutes straight, so I'm gonna keep this intro short. My name's Sarim. This mic works well enough. This is called... It did not work well enough. I'm just not touch it anymore. A little higher, perfect. Yes, thank you much. All right. This one's called Tongue Tied.
Go off.
Go forward.
When my mother speaks Urdu, her tongue sprouts wings and wheels itself to the sky among the perinde and farishte, birds and angels, above the ar and dimar, fire and mines. When my father speaks Urdu, his tongue has never been more of a muscle, shattering ceilings and braving brunts, hum ke liye, for us, or sirf hum ke liye, and only for us. When my brother and sister speak Urdu, their tongues leap from their mouths and run to the playground, bacche ya khab, children or dreams. Mujhe nahi pata, I do not know. When I speak Urdu, my tongue grows a pair of legs longer than the sky and runs in terror from the gunshots of every time I forgot about Pakistan and proclaimed this blatant and blanched land my home. When I speak English, my tongue twists in remorse, grieving a language it can barely imagine. A baby boy curled fetal like a one-stop memory that painted himself monster. See, in Urdu, the word for language is zaban, the same word for tongue. How hypocritical it is to tie a tongue to something it never knew. When the two towers came crashing down on that crisp September morning, America went quiet, Pakistan went quiet, the world went quiet. And in my family's Queens apartment, sab zabane khamosh ho gayi. All languages went quiet. All tongues went quiet. And after the ashes had settled on concrete and mouths alike, my parents gathered us, dug up the sui dhaga dabba from the drawer, dug up the box of needles and thread, and one by one sewed our tongues still, beat curved Urdu calligraphy into straight-edge submission, ripped out alif ba ta and hemmed on A, B, C, draped 3 sets of tongue-sized shrouds, seamstresses drafting their own worst nightmares. But not is all as it seems for these seamstresses, for it seems they have ripped their hands up in joy, because so many years later I took a seam ripper and one by one unstitched every tack and set my tongue free again, learning my Urdu, learning my language, relearning my tongue that one-stop memory brought back from the dead. What a monstrously beautiful sight, for a tongue reclaimed is a Lazarus language, and does that not make it spoken divinity? When I speak Urdu, am I not speaking the language of God? जब मैं उर्दू फरमाता हूँ तो ये अल्लाह की ज़बान नहीं है, ये अल्लाह की ज़बान है.
Okay, poets!
That's tall enough, right? Yeah. Okay. Hi. I have a joke before I begin, because I'm nervous, guys. So I go to UT, obviously, and I got into UT and a school in Mississippi called Millsaps, and the only reason I chose UT is because there are no Whataburgers in Mississippi. So I just thought that was imperative. I told my mother how I wrote a poem about my scoliosis. She tells me, when you write something down, it loses power. I do not bother telling her that every monumental speech was written down first, no matter, because she has already moved on, tells me I am not the only person in my family with a curve. My body is not the only broken one, so it does not matter that it is broken. I do not tell her that she has not seen me in 9 months, that my spine has been calling in sick recently, not doing its job instead. Annoyed now at my mother's uninterest and her daughter's pain, I decide to get revenge. I tell her of my need for surgery soon. I expect an apology. For her to explain how she wishes I felt okay, for some semblance of love, instead she only says, let's not think about it. I do not bother telling her how often my body screams, how even the silence has become eerie, and how this is all my body lets me think about. Instead, I wonder how often I'll need to write my mother's words down before they lose power. We spend the next 20 minutes talking about her health. My spine becomes a background piece in my own body, and the room has suddenly become too busy to notice it. Instead, my mother shines a spotlight on herself, demands she is the only centerpiece to be focused on, and I am here, aching in everything my mother has made me. And I beg that writing this poem down takes away the power of her words so I can stop feeling like a visitor in my own goddamn body. I am here, feeling like a child again, feeling bad for feeling bad, ashamed, like when my mother told me to stop crying about a little back pain, ashamed, like when my mother told me I'm too young to know what it feels like to hurt, ashamed, like when my mother joked, told me to sit up straighter so doctor bills would be cheaper, ashamed, and the way my mother says I can barely even see your curve anymore, ashamed, and the way that this is the first poem I've ever written the word scoliosis in, ashamed, and the way that I stop when I say that I am disabled because my mother told me to be disabled, it actually has to show, ashamed, and the way that my body exists, ashamed, to exist. And my mother wonders why I never call, why our conversations never last longer than 3 minutes. This is the 13th version of this poem, and I am still wondering how many times I need to rewrite it before my mother's words lose their power.
Where are my kinky bitches at?
What are we talking about?
Content warning for kink. Suicidal ideation, medical trauma, rape mention. Rope Bondage 101 after Ariana Brown. 1. Intro to rope. Strength is most difficult to find when I think of it as a monolith. How do you heal a whole body at once? How do you make a broken thing indivisible? I look for pillars of joy and find threads. I am too aware of how invisible each one seems. They barely cast a shadow. They barely reflect light. But one day, I have enough. I twist and braid them together. 2. Intro to body. The body is a series of columns. Leg, arm, torso. I imagine ancient ruins. A few columns have been split in the name of surgery or science. The records say that after one archaeological dig, they unearthed tissue from the column of my backbone. They kept it so I could be studied by students of medicine or archaeology. 3. Single column tie. I learned to tie a loop around my thigh that does not collapse. Let me explain. Once, a man convinced me that a ruined body is not worth preserving. Sex has been nothing but collapse ever since. So when I tell you I pulled on the ends of the rope and the loop did not dig itself into my flesh, I'm saying there's an archaeology to knowing that you can be held without unhinging your nerve from the bone. 4. Double column tie. 2 legs, 2 columns. I tie myself to myself, and I am twice as strong. I tie myself to myself, and when I do so, I learn to love the body I once dreamed of hurting. 5. Hanging is one of the most common methods of suicide. Sometimes I dream that someone looking for threads held rope in her hands. In dreams previous, she begged the rope to collapse around her neck. But in this dream, she says, "Let me show you how to love with rope." I imagine she held her wrists out. I imagine she bound and held herself. Whenever rope is involved, 2 paths diverge in possibility. Despite everything, I have consistently not chosen the one that ends in death.
So we're gonna be setting up another mic. Yeah.
Right about now, can you say group peace?
Group peace!
Your future starts here. You've worked hard to get here, and your adventure's just beginning.
When you come to the University of Texas at Austin, you'll get one of the best values in public education.
Texas is an experience and a first-class education that will define you for the rest of your life.
What starts here changes the
I
world.
tell my friend how my Latinx studies professor should add my Venmo to her syllabus. I laugh about how if my bank account was as full as my group me DMs, I could afford all of the books by white people this semester. The joke is, the words of white men will always be worth more than my lived experience.
High school senior signs a contract. College freshman regrets not reading the fine print. I learned there are two kinds of teachers in my department. The ones who teach Asian kids how to be computers, and the ones who just don't give a shit.
A teacher gives us space to grieve in class, and my best friend here speaks about how this social work program forces us to peel back our layers and does little to protect us from exposure. How for those of us who carry the most pain, we are nothing but a teaching tool for our peers.
And so many of the people in that class nod, empathetically, reflecting back emotions so well that they feel nothing at all.
This professor tells me the same things that ableism has taught me to hate about myself, only this time it is said in a gentle voice.
A piece of rotting meat.
Gift wrapped. Able-bodied women insist,
Love is like the answer to our political climate.
and that is the peeling back of my blistered skin. They tell me to show them my surgical scars, and then congratulate themselves for allowing someone like me to be in the same room as them.
They speak for hours on their commitment to inclusion.
While the main entrance to the school has 25 stairs, and I am always pointed to the side.
No one told us that tin people aren't allowed to speak past their glass screens.
These dorm room raves are sleepless nights. While humans spends the night out with their friends, night stays inside with me. Flashing lights are the only sign of life in this room.
Twitter watches Black Mirror and gets scared of robots.
UT computer science student looks at dorm room mirror and gets scared of the same. In these games of mental health, professors excuse themselves from blame for why we can't handle this pressure cooker packages a degree.
Dr. White Lady says I should learn to argue to audiences that are less radical. White boy asks,
Bro, like if it was so bad, like why didn't the brass roast just go back?
my grandfather rolls in an unmarked grave. I explain that
But
a weed is just a flower someone decided to hate. I tell him about my grandfather's house and the weeds that grew through the cracks in the bricks. I tell him
You can't keep the weeds out where they see promise.
The flowers are beautiful because they are indifferent to everything that tells them not to grow. They become angry at how we challenge years of study,
And we, the shy specimen, burst out of our petri dish.
Wet, warm, but willing to bet that they've had it wrong this whole time.
It is the peeling back of our skin when they say
We are nothing more than
their inspirational poster child.
Their quotable book with a spine to break.
their hunchback shadow tech support.
Your future starts here. You've worked hard to get here.
When you come to Texas, you'll get one education.
Texas will define you for the rest of your life.
What starts here?
Changes you.
One more time, that Venmo was?
At
At UT Spitshine. Oh my God.
Oh my
What starts here changes you. Oh Lord.
You know.
Y'all give it up one more time for UT Spitshine. Oh my goodness, right about now, that has been our open mic.
Wait, what?
I know, but, yo, we do this every Wednesday. Rain or shine, you better believe we are here. All right, so guess what? Next week, we're having a poetry slam featuring Roya Marsh. Y'all ain't even ready. Y'all gotta come out to actually witness this magic, all right? You can get poetry, right about now, poetry swag right here with my man Zach. You can get chapbooks from Spitshine Poetry, which were only what? $10! No, you heard that correct.